We're expecting in a moment to hear from the mayor, Libby Schaaf. Let's listen in, though, to obviously one of the police authorities here.
Fire Department Chief Reed, Oakland Fire Department Deputy Chief Hoffman, Sergeant Ray Kelly, who is to my left. He's with the Alameda County Sheriff's Office, Coroner's Bureau. And we have other city, not only leaders, but services that are here on stage with us today, from the city administrator to the chief of police to the Red Cross to building division for the city of Oakland. We have a lot of new faces in our media guests today, so we would ask you if you could identify who you are and which media agency you are with when it comes to question time. But please allow us to provide you with information, and then we will have question time and expect questions from you. So please allow us to facilitate it. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Mayor Schaaf. Yeah.
This morning, a terrible tragedy took place in a space, in a building that is permitted as a warehouse. Now, I've spent my morning doing what is our priority, and that is focusing on the families of their loved ones that are waiting to hear information and waiting for us to address this very complicated and devastating scene. I want to thank all of our first responders who are on the scene and have been working so hard. And we are so thankful for the cooperation, particularly from Alameda County, as well as our federal partners, in not just responding to this scene, but joining us in what is going to be a very thorough and methodical investigation so that we can discern what in fact happened. Now, we are going to ask the public's patience as we do that. This is a devastating scene. This is complicated, and it is going to take us time to do the methodical, thorough, and professional investigation that these families deserve to find out what in fact happened, as well as to focus humanely and compassionately on addressing the victims and working to identify them and get that information first to their families. All right, I know that you're going to have a lot of questions. We're here with some initial information, but we ask for you to respect that we will have additional information each day, and that we are going to be very respectful of the families that deserve to know first. And so we expect to continue to be in touch with you over the next few days about what the investigation unfolds and to continue to answer the questions that you bring to us. I do also want people to know that if they are interested in making contributions to support the victims' families, our own Oakland A's have set up a site and are matching up to $20,000 of donations at youcare.com, Oakland Fire Victims. We thank the Oakland A's, and we thank all of the very compassionate people of this city that want to wrap their arms around the family members who lost loved ones in this horrific fire last night. With that, I'm going to introduce our fire chief, Chief Teresa Deloche Reed.
Good afternoon. Last night, December 2nd, a third alarm was called at approximately 11:30 for 1315 31st Avenue. At this time, we have identified 9 fire fatalities. We are in the process of recovering and identifying those victims. We're also in the process of assessing to see if there are any other victims associated with this fire. Right now, I'd like to turn it over to the incident commander, Deputy Chief Mark Hoffman, to give you more information in regards to the incident and the recovery efforts.
As mentioned, we last night found 9 fatalities in the structure. Oakland Fire Department is currently working with Alameda County Sheriff's Department, the Oakland Police Department, the alcohol, tobacco, and fire agents, Cal OSHA, Alameda County Search and Rescue, and the Red Cross to secure the scene and to continue recovery efforts and conduct the investigation into the cause of the deadly fire. At this time, we are shoring up the building to make sure it's safe to enter and continue the recovery effort. As we previously reported, the roof of the building collapsed onto the second floor, which also in many areas collapsed onto the first floor, further complicating our ability to continue the recovery effort. We will bring information to you through the OPD PIO office as we have it.
Thank you, Deputy Chief. I'd like to turn it over at this time to Sergeant Ray Kelly, who is with the Alameda County Sheriff's Department Coroner's Bureau. He can update you where they are right now regarding the search and the recovery. Sir?
So we have begun the search. We had to actually stop to shore up the building because when we went in there, we began to see some of the walls and some of the structure move. So we had to pull our people out. At this time, we've only been able to recover one decedent from that scene. So this is going to be a slow process for us. We are anticipating being out here for a minimum of the next 48 hours. So we will be at this scene. The scene will remain active until it's entirely searched and gone through. In addition to that, we have our Family Assistance Center that is up. It is was put together on the spur of the moment. It's now functioning much more efficiently, and we're getting to talk with those families and get the information to them that they need. The mayor has spent a lot of time with those families, and we're doing everything we can. This is a very difficult situation, not only for the community, but for our first responders.
Before we open it up for questions, our ask to the media is to please push our message out as far as you can. We have a lot of social media platforms exchanging and sharing information, which we always encourage, but we'd like to direct that information to the Alameda County Coroner's Bureau because they have a master list they're working with, and we want to take that information and share it with them to ensure and notify families whether their loved one was or was not here. Looking at everything from distinguishing marks such as tattoos, piercings, maybe photos from families. Not all families are from this area. They're out of state and, as indicated earlier, international as well. So please help us with helping the families and our community as we move through this investigation, as we find answers, and as we heal as a community and help the families heal. At this time, we'll certainly open it up for questions. Let's start right here. You, sir, go ahead. I will certainly refer to the fire department, but sir, let me just preface this. There are a lot of questions that will be asked that we will not be able to share the information because the roof fell onto the second story. As Sergeant Kelly indicated, the second story did collapse into the first story in some portions. So that could be very, very difficult, but I've certainly asked the fire department. I don't know if we're prepared for that answer yet. Can we hold on? Let me see if I can, Ali, let me just see if I can answer his question about how many exits. Would you like to step up and say that, sir? The 2 exits, sir, located at the building. Ali, you had a question. The Oakland Police Department is working with the city and also working with the fire department about future investigations. How many calls have been to this location, whether it's been police or fire or the city? So all of those questions will come out. Right now we want to focus on the recovery. We want to focus on identifying any of the victims. We want to work with the families. That's a main focus. But we will work towards those questions such as, was this building under investigation? Was this building ever fined? What is the condition as far as permits, housing? All of those questions will be answered in due time. But right now we want to stay focused on the recovery and working with the families. Yes, sir.
2 questions. First for Sergeant Kelly. You said one body has been recovered. Do we know if that necessarily is one of the 9 people that you are aware of, or could that have been like, someone additional?
Look, this is one of many bodies that we will be recovering. Okay, we had to stop operations because the building is so unsafe, and that makes our job very, very hard. But it's about decency and respect for our victims and doing this right, doing it right for the families, doing it right for our staff so that they're safe in there. So that's what our priority is, and we don't care how long it takes. We will be here as long as it takes to get that job done.
My second question.
Have you resumed the operations?
My second question, I want to know, I know you want us to focus on the victims and everything right now, what happened. At the same time, it's very simple to basically tell us whether this building was under investigation. That's a very simple
I think it's
thing.
very important
Yes.
that we share the information that we have with you.
Well,
So
that would
I
be
think
important.
Darren Renoletti needs to come up and address that.
We'll have him come up, sir.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Darren Ranoletti, Oakland Planning and Building Director. At this time, we know that the last designated use of the property was as a warehouse. We had received recent complaints about blight and unpermitted construction at the property. We had opened an investigation, and that investigation is ongoing. And as we learn more, we will certainly release that information.
Was there any violations that we know of that you had determined already?
There was an inspection of the property, and we were able to confirm blight at the property, and we are still investigating the allegations of unpermitted construction at the structure.
Light external.
They want just the date.
That opened on November 13th. Again, the last permitted legal use was a warehouse. We have reports that people were living, but again, we're still trying to investigate and confirm whether there actually were people living in the structure.
Hold on for a second. Can you just explain for people what blight means? Because it's an external.
Sure. There was a complaint that there was blight in the adjacent vacant lot, which is owned by the same property owner. Debris, garbage, and trash. We were able to confirm that those violations were accurate. Regarding the illegal construction, that was for interior construction within the building itself.
Had the inspectors actually been inside the building?
If we can hold on, let's take one question at a time.
If the building is, as explained, if the building is permitted as a warehouse, are people allowed to live there?
Permits would be needed for people to live in the building, and those permits had not been issued.
Have you had a chance to get inside the building? Have you had a chance to get inside the building as part of your investigation?
No, we had an inspector attempt to enter the building, and at that time was not able to secure access to the building, and so that investigation hadn't concluded and it was still underway.